Last night it kind of worked out fine for the neutral owner or fan. If you had Munster, I think you're absolutely cheering. And Eli Katoa, a good win from the low one last week and the 45 the week before. So to get that try and really just a lack of negatives for him with good run meters was enough to get him into a good score of 57. And really the guys to talk about right now is Stefano Utoikamanu with back-to-back banging scores and 54 minutes, but it's the running of the footy that's been awesome. Tackle numbers at 30-1 is great if we can have that every week. If you've got this type of running game, that would be awesome. So 178 run meters and 10 tackle breaks. When I look at his scoring, and there's a reason why he's at neg 61k and a 44.5 average, and that includes 80 and 73 the last 2 weeks. He just has too many scores in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s there, which just makes it really hard to purchase someone like him. But he's got every tool we know, and we've probably seen it over the years too many times now for him to go 2-3 weeks in a row of just being really, really amazing, and then back to 3 weeks in a row of just being awful. And it hasn't really changed at the Storm. We saw a couple of these games at Tigers last year, and we're here again. So maybe not fall into the trap, although it could work out for a couple of weeks before going back to some mediocrity. Now with Munster, he took over the bulk of the kick meters there at 520, and even with neg 14 with 3 missed tackles and the 4 penalties is pretty wild, a couple of lazy head highs there. He dominated the kicking at 520 with 2 forced dropouts, and then a couple of kicks off the boot for try assists as well. Go along with some tackles and some run meters, didn't even have any offloads. 1 turnover tackle, and the Harry Grant 3 turnover tackles was burning me. Put himself in the right position and had, fair play to him, a hectic tackle on Zach Lomax, which ended in a turnover as well. So a couple of really good moves and good hits there to get him those numbers. But for Munster, I actually think he's a genuine option next week. Now, a lot of people, including myself, are buying Isaiah Katoa, and he's the safer option, very clearly. But you can see there with Munster, 520 kick meters, 150 for Wishart. He actually took a lot of the kick meters in Origin as well. When with DC in that first game, he kicked for more. So he definitely has that in his game, and I think it's improving. But change my mind on this one. I think Munster has the best chipping game from close range, 15 to 20 meters. Yes, he has the absolute weapons in Eli Katoa and Xavier Coates, but he is pinpoint with those kicks to those guys. So let me know if you guys agree with just the chipping game, less in terms of the short kicking game and in grubbers and different things like that, which is okay as well. But I think his chipping to those guys is absolutely pinpoint. And the video there of going over to Xavier saying, "I told you so," I'm pretty sure he's gone that you can get above Lomax easily and we'll get that try. So they're the few interesting plays there at a reasonable price as well, Munster, and I think he'll score better without Hughes than he will with, given the base stats that he's going to get. 32 tackles is pretty wild as well. Now the Eels, if you come up against Eels in this final 5 rounds now, it's going to be a tough clash. And we saw that here. Storm had the moments where they weren't playing great, and they're still in that mode, of not playing their absolute best. I think they're not going to be classed as an easy beat, and they'll be in games, and I'm interested. I'm very excited to see them next year and how they come out and sort of where they finish on the table. For Ellie, he's going to sit still in best 17s, definitely. Like, you got him and Huddy Young sort of up top, Preston, these types of guys. So he'll fit in that top 3, top 4, and yeah, this is definitely someone that you can still have sights on in your side. He got the footy plenty still, 160 metres, so didn't change too much. And if you've got the kicks from Munster, that's great. It'll be more just the short balls and different work on the right side with Hughes that you're going to be missing. Now for Harry, the 52 continues to score well with those plays that he's going to, the face ball to one of their forwards. He had 2 from King last week, and we had Stefano last week, and then Kamikamitha in this one with that face ball, which was great from Harry. Tackle numbers, they had a fair bit of possession, so 37 in the end for 1 miss is really, really good. There was a few there where he ended up 1-on-1, and half got through the line, and he was the saviour there. So I thought he played a really good game, and to be honest, he does deserve the 52. He did have 3 penalties in this one and 1 forced drop out, which was a cracking tackle. on Joe Ash trying to get out of the in-goal there. So for him to have the 3 turnover tackles is kind of like, yeah, fair enough. He played well, so he probably deserves a 52. As a non-owner, 52, it's fine. As an owner, I think you're pretty happy with that as well, given it's a few points ahead of where he's priced at. Joshua King, 49. Williams, 48 there. He had Blory, 45. I thought they used him a little bit more back on the inside. And similar with Howarth, his running game's gone to another level. He looks so strong right now. If you've got Williams, the full 80 minutes is good. 48 for him for the small amount that's still owned at 3.5%. On top, good, 5.3. There'll be a few that started with him that just stopped playing after he scored poorly at the beginning of the year, I reckon. But 51 minutes for him. Unfortunately, ended up going off in with sort of 6-7 minutes to go, which owners and anyone who bought just recently would be hoping that he did stay on. 40 tackles in this one, only 50 run meters and a couple of errors, untimely, I should say, for him as well. So if you bought, it's basically near where he's priced at, so it's not the end of the world, but not perfect either. And we've got some news that potentially, most likely anyway, Payne Haas is out this week, 90%. Sounds like with the illness, so they'll give him up until tonight, the second game tonight. So most likely we'll find out, like a 90% chance we'd find out right the hour before. And yeah, a small chance we'll find out earlier. And it's a bit of an awkward one. Most of us have got a lot of mids, so it's hard to actually loop with him properly. And given us the third game of the round, there's not many guys to actually loop in the first few games. Personally, I've got an Aaron Clark that I could loop in 5 tonight, just as a safety type of thing for Haas, but I can't really use him how I'd want as my out this week. So that part's pretty frustrating. You kind of want him to be one of the later games of the week. And yeah, it just shows what an incredible purchase he was last week. Pappenhausen, 42 for him. The 1 goal and just missed everything else. Ran the footy well, 202 run meters, 6 tackle breaks there. Just a little bit off for him. Good at times, but he'll hopefully improve from there. And it looks like Meany will probably kick the goal. So if he kept Pap in the side, it's a big turnaround because he would have been near a 50 ball in this one and then ends up at 42 with missing 3 or 4 goals and then Meany kicking that last one. What about Charlie Geimer? A good run from him. 39 tackles, 12 misses. Hello, Tom Gilbert. How are you? Welcome to the party, Tom's friend Charlie. I see a 26 in negatives, which is crazy in this one. So 38 for him. You'll take it in the end with so many negatives. Wishy's 37. I think it's a really, really solid number there. So the best part of this is he got about 60 minutes or so in the middle. Where is Jonah Peasant? Hello, Jonah. 13. So 13 minutes in the middle when Jonah came on into the halves. And overall, I think that's a good thing. He gets extra tackles, and that's where the majority of his points do come from, is in that tackles. He seems to be in the mid-20s pretty regularly. And then he'll run the footy a bit, kicks the footy a bit too. So overall, in those numbers, it's up to a 43 in base before any negatives and any attacking stats. So that's pretty good for a 338, a 37. You take that every day of the week, and I think that he's a really decent member of your sort of 18-19, and you can play on a week-to-week basis where some weeks he'll get some attacking stats and others he'll just be base like this and he'll hit like a 30s, which will be sweet. So I think he was 14 or something at halftime too, so a good little turnaround for the rest of it. 27 minutes for Chewy, hey? It's changing a bit. But I loved his celebration there. Meany will get the goal kicking back, but stays out centre, so if you own him, the goal kicking's helpful, but the rest of it's not so much. Xavier Coates, a good try. Mr. Riley Smith, so he ended up getting 30 minutes and scored really well, 33, but he had Talon De Silva play the rest of the game there, so they're definitely bringing him into the fold, but he is not playing well at all. Talon, I don't think. Looked great at the Tigers for the most part, but he's been pretty invisible and has penalties, has errors in his game right now. So, yeah, Riley Smith definitely needs to go. I've been mentioning that for a few weeks. Just make sure it happens. If you have any trades left, you're only going to get near 30s from him, and it doesn't really help you week to week, whereas his price point's pretty good that you can move up or down or sideways to, Galvins and these types of guys that can hit 50 more regularly, or way more regularly and consistently than a Riley Smith. So for Howarth there, the 30, so I had the 5 tackle breaks, ran the footy well, no attacking stats again, which it seems to be very, very low outside of Xavier Coates on that left-hand side. So he'll have his games like last week, but to be fair, early on, with the tackle breaks early, it looked like he was on for a big one, and then it really slowed down. Now, Mitchell Moses is a 43.3 average now, and if this type of scoring continues for the rest of the season, not having the goals, not scoring tries or setting them up at this stage, I think he's playing really good footy. But negatives are hurting him a little bit as well, down neg 13. But he's gone back-to-back 20 odds, and he's going to be fun next year if it comes about. Now, Lomax 28 for him with a line break, with a goal. He kicked pretty poorly as well. I think, he had one not far off the right edge of the goals there. A little bit further out than what Pappy had, but he missed that by a mile as well. 28 for him. If you jumped on as the pod play, 10.6, I think third overall has him. So, some people have jumped on over the last few weeks and potentially this week as well. And I understand the pod play, but definitely risky as a as a winger, as we've seen. A winger that's not like a 70s, 80s, 100 type upside guy. He's if he plays really well, it's 50 odd to 60. So you've got less room for that boom game than what you would have hoped. And then Penasini, I mentioned him as a pretty nice price, but to 16 was pretty awful. Probably stay away now. He's got no upside this year. 31 average for the year. And then Joash Papali with 20 in this one. So 3 tackle breaks, got a couple early as well, and end up I think 11 at half time, and then just didn't really improve from there. So he will come up against easier sides, and we'll see better scores like we saw last week from him in coming weeks, definitely. It's going to come. It'll happen, and if you bought him this week, you're not playing him anyway, so you're most likely okay. And maybe next week or the week after, these types of games there, you might need him, and he'll be able to score better. So I think the good news out of this is that Eels are doing pretty well, and they look good, and he'll come good at some point and have those high 30s and 40s, and similar to that with Moses and Lomax, they'll bounce back. And then guys up top here, I think they'll be pretty consistent. Munster might be a 50-odd guy. Now, Katoa will be pretty similar to his average. And Grant, you should expect scores around this on a pretty regular basis. So that's the first one of the week. Weather-wise, we might have the best weather in Auckland for this for the Ikatoa and Herbie, Aaron Clark Bowl, which would be good fun. So we'll see how that one plays out, and then we will find out about Haas tonight with them up against the South, which we would have liked him to been there. But if he is out, that's going to help Carrigan a lot. So I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and we'll catch you in our next one, hopefully tomorrow.